Hello everyone, Dave here from SaveDecks.
And I'm Sophie.
And this is a special day because this is the release date of Spongebob Squarepants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. So, we are going to celebrate today by just having a chat about SpongeBob SquarePants in general.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about the show, the films,
And the
then
game.
a bit about the game at the end maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, we're not really a gaming channel. So we're going to start off about the show. So what do you think of the show?
I love the show. I came across it when I think I was about 11 or 12. I was in Plymouth and I was on holiday with my mum and dad, and they had taken me to an aquarium, and I saw this yellow character on a kite, and I was like, what the hell is that? It just really drew me in, that picture. And then I think it was close to my birthday because I was allowed to go to Toys R Us. This is how long ago it was. I was allowed to go to Toys R Us and choose something to buy. So I chose this thing called a Video Now, and it was like a little tiny DVD player with this tiny screen, like honestly miniature, and it must have been my birthday because, you know, my dad actually agreed to it.
Yeah.
And I chose the one that had the SpongeBob disc. It had 2 episodes on there, and I've forgotten which ones they were. It was the
You showed me them the other day.
I did. I know exactly what happens in those episodes.
Yeah, I can't remember the title,
but one of them was the one where he brings the jellyfish home from the wild, and it has a wild party. And I remember that episode like front to back, like completely, every word, even the music.
Oh, and, a lot of music in that one.
It was so good. I don't have that Video Now anymore, but I was looking online and people are selling it still, but they don't have those 2-disc edition. Yeah. Like
those episodes are currently watchable on Amazon Prime. That's where we watched them.
I know, but it was just like this nostalgia of watching it on that tiny screen.
And the other one was where he becomes hall monitor.
Yes, that was the one. Yeah. Oh, I love that one.
Mrs. Puff makes him hall monitor, and
hall monitor.
He basically exploits his authority around the town.
It's when Patrick's going around going, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. It's so good. I love it.
So my first impressions of SpongeBob SquarePants, because I'm 6 years older than you.
Yes.
So when SpongeBob first came about, I was a teenager, whereas you were a child. And the first time was actually with the game you're seeing footage of now, Battle for Bikini Bottom, but the original one. And that was because I was reading a magazine called NGC, which reviewed GameCube games. And they reviewed it, and they gave it like 38% or something like that, and said it was rubbish, basically. So I'd never heard of him before. I wasn't watching kids' cartoons at that point. And you know, it's got my attention because of the name, SpongeBob SquarePants. So I just disregarded it as some rubbish kids show, you know, not for me sort of thing. But then my brother, who's actually older than me, he was uni age at the time. He must have caught it out, because when you get to uni age, you start watching kids shows again.
You regress.
You regress, and not just in a nostalgic point of view, but you watch modern kids shows because you wake up late, don't you? They're on TV in the morning, and
well, I had a younger brother, so I watched like all the kids shows.
Yeah,
I have several younger brothers.
So when he came home on holiday, he put it on, like it was on Cartoon Network or one of those channels. And
Nickelodeon.
Maybe Nickelodeon. Yeah, come to think of it. And he said, but you check this one, it's really funny. He said, I was like, okay, I'd heard of it, but I didn't know about it. And in it, all I remember is Patrick was drowning in the swimming pool, saying that he couldn't swim. And I found it strange because they were under the water anyway.
Yeah, but the game explains that. It's goo.
It's goo, yes. Yeah. But I also found it funny because he was actually staying afloat saying that. And then this boat goes to save him, and Patrick panics so much he waves his arms and destroys the boat. And SpongeBob rescues him by absorbing all the water to make himself huge, and then Patrick's stuck inside him or something. And you know when you're watching something so funny, you're actually crying.
Yeah.
That was one of the few times. Well, not few, it's happened plenty of times, but a few times I remember actually crying with laughter at something, and I've never looked back since that episode.
That's so good.
another incident was when I went to uni myself. I actually made a friend there.
Oh, no way.
I actually made 2 friends.
No
Come to
way.
think of it, yes. And one of them, he hadn't never watched SpongeBob before, and so we found some on YouTube. YouTube was in its early days back then, but people were still putting things like that on there. And we were watching just random episodes, and there was this one in particular, and I can't remember the name of the episode now, but it's where SpongeBob and Patrick are in the treehouse or something, and Squidward is complaining about the noise, but they want him to join their club, and their club is they obey what the magic conch shell says, which is kind of like a magic 8-ball, which tells them what to do.
Yeah.
It's just a toy, but they worship it like it's real. Anyway, Squidward ends up trying to escape the treehouse, but they accidentally catapult into the middle of nowhere, and they're like in the, I can't remember if it's like seaweed or something they're stuck in. It's
kelp
like
forest or
yeah,
something.
it's kind of like a cornfield though it's meant to represent.
Oh, okay.
And Squidward, so they say to the conch shell, what do we do? And it says do nothing.
Yeah.
So SpongeBob and Patrick just sit there blank-faced. and Squidward's like, this is ridiculous, we need to get out of here. And he runs through the kelp, I suppose it is, or seaweed. And it's this big dramatic moment of him fighting through it, trying to get free. And he runs out into the opening and he goes to his knees and he shouts out, yes, I did it, I'm free, I'm free. And he suddenly looks and the camera pans across to show he's back where he started. And it wasn't that I saw that coming, that was very predictable. He was going to end up, but the thing that got us both was that as it panned across, SpongeBob and Patrick were still sat there doing nothing with that blank look on their faces. And me and my friend, we were both crying, absolutely crying with laughter.
I love that episode. It's so good.
It's just, the show is so stupid, but it works.
Yeah, it's
like
amazing.
Any other episodes you remember?
So many. I mean, I know the first 2 seasons really well because Amazon have them.
Yeah,
and I've watched them
been watching
over
them
and over and over.
I've got another one.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember it off heart, but basically I think Squidward crashes his car or something.
I have one in a minute.
Yeah, I think Squidward crashes his car and I can't remember, so he has to go to the driving school, the boating school with SpongeBob, and SpongeBob, he is just in awe of Squidward during it. Like, obviously Squidward hates SpongeBob, and I'll get into that in a bit, but he's sat there at the desk next to SpongeBob and he's trying to just get through the day sort of thing, but he looks across and SpongeBob is just staring at him in awe because he's just so happy to have his friend there with him. This Squidward clearly hates him, but SpongeBob just oblivious to it.
Oblivious is correct.
Now you go ahead.
The rock bottom episode.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I can't remember what happens. I think he gets on the bus and he gets off at the wrong stop or something, but he ends up in rock bottom, and every time he tries to get the bus or he turns away, a bus comes and then leaves, and then he goes to the ticket office and he asks the guy, when's the next bus, and the guy goes, I can't understand your language, but he raspberries in between. So it's, I can't understand your language. And like, it's just so funny because you can see SpongeBob getting rolled up and then he does it and he's like, oh, you know, you should have said.
It's just, it's so perfect.
Yeah.
The stupid humour, they got it down. It's something that kids will obviously love, that sort of thing, but adults can sort of appreciate it in that way. So anyway, who's your favourite character?
SpongeBob brought me to it, so SpongeBob, he's my favourite character.
See, okay, this could be because my favourite character is Squidward.
No way. Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah, he's my next favourite.
I suppose as a child watching it, you'd probably see Squidward as this sort of stick in the mud, like he's no fun. Yeah. I don't have a child's perspective of this show.
I can't remember, to be honest. I thought he was just part of it. I never thought, like, because, I mean, some kids' shows that I would watch as, you know, obviously as a kid and a young teenager, an adult, I would be like, oh, they're being unfair. But with Squidward, I kind of saw why he was getting so annoyed.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you not only worked with SpongeBob, but lived next door to him as well,
Yeah.
you would hate him as
my
well.
God, yes.
You would find him annoying.
So annoying.
And the fact that SpongeBob is constantly getting in Squidward's face.
Yes.
Like, Squidward wants to just do his own thing and be on his own. SpongeBob has to just button. There was this one episode where Squidward gets a radio show or TV show. It was a TV show. And SpongeBob sees him doing it.
Yeah.
And he has to butt in and all that. And
Yeah.
everyone loves SpongeBob in the show more than Squidward. I think
it's the same. It's like the talent show one where they
Yeah.
have a talent show in the Krusty Krab.
Yeah.
And Squidward does it so he can do his dance routine, and
Yes.
everyone hates it.
Yeah.
And then SpongeBob comes on afterwards
He's mopping.
he's
Yeah.
mopping, and they're absolutely loving it. It's
Yeah.
just like it's
Like,
so good.
you can't help but feel sorry. But my favourite joke in the Squidward's TV show one
Yeah.
is when, because SpongeBob sees obviously live TV,
Yeah.
and SpongeBob says to Patrick, "Come in here, Patrick." Like, he comes in and brings it, "We're on TV," and then Patrick goes, "Really?" And he runs home, turns on his TV, goes, "I'm not on there," like that, and it's like
So dumb.
it's so.
Did you know that the sponge is the simplest being?
Well, SpongeBob is the simplest
Yeah.
being, definitely.
I don't think it's a being. I think it's like the simplest life form in the ocean. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's something like that.
Well, Patrick is simpler than him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I always found that weird.
yeah, definitely. But anyway, so moving on from the show, let's talk about the films.
Yes.
So that first film, I remember it was when I was new into SpongeBob when that came out. I didn't go to the cinema to see it.
Yeah.
We got it on DVD when it came out. What did you think of the first SpongeBob film?
Oh, I loved it. Because I was super fan then. I still
Yeah.
am. But yeah, I loved that first film.
Yeah, I was in my early days of SpongeBob. I really liked it. I did really like the film as well. I've watched the film more times than I've watched any episode of the show. I just really loved it.
It's so good.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson was in it as Neptune's
yeah,
daughter,
of
wasn't
course,
she?
yeah.
So that was like the celebrity guest.
Yeah, yeah.
And David Hasselhoff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all three films have like a live action big celebrity. Obviously Hasselhoff,
Yeah.
and then Antonio Banderas,
In the
and then
second one.
but we'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Keanu Reeves in the third
new
one.
one, yeah.
Which we'll get to that as well.
What's your favourite joke?
My favourite joke in the first one is when they're travelling
Yeah.
on the thing and they see this ice cream stall.
Oh, yeah, and it's the
And-
granny.
It's the granny, but it's like this giant monster going to eat them. And
Yeah.
SpongeBob goes to buy the ice creams, and then Patrick sort of sees like there's a hint that it's actually a monster, it's not real.
Yeah.
And he shouts, "SpongeBob, wait!" He goes, "Make mine chocolate!"
Of course.
It's like... And I also liked how they had the Cyclops, which was like a live action guy in the diving suit.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
And he's still wearing it, even though he's in the hut, and he does the evil laugh. Yeah, and then they have just the bizarreness of SpongeBob in general. The final battle
Yeah.
with that bounty hunter takes place on the back of David Hasselhoff's
Yes.
legs.
Oh, my God, so funny. I love that so much.
And then when
It
spoilers,
works,
by the way.
It works so well because I don't know, it just I love it.
Yeah, I think only a show like SpongeBob would just get away with doing stuff like that
Yeah.
without people going, "This is too much."
Too much, yeah.
Obviously, I'm not just SpongeBob, but shows like SpongeBob can just go that bizarre. It's brilliant. What do you think of SpongeBob's laugh?
It's annoying, but it's SpongeBob.
It's iconic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's iconic. You hear it, you know that's SpongeBob.
Yeah, I
don't
can
you?
imagine it get annoying. Oh, there's that one episode where he leaves. Squidward leaves SpongeBob in the Krusty Krab, and he goes to have a nap. Or
Yeah.
no, he's stressed because he's so anxious that SpongeBob's going to burn the place down or do something wrong that he keeps running back, and SpongeBob's absolutely fine. He's just stood there at the till. And then he goes back home to have a rest because he's like, I'm stressed. And then he's trying to fall asleep and he keeps hearing SpongeBob's laugh. And he looks outside and it's like I don't know, like shrub or whatever you get under the sea, like kelp or something, or shrub, an enemy rubbing up against his... Oh, it's coral rubbing up against his house, making that noise.
Yeah.
And that just makes me laugh every time.
I like one of my favourite lines in the film as well is when, because SpongeBob and Patrick have gone off to get Neptune's crown back. That's, because Plankton's framed Krabs for it, hasn't he? And anyway, so Squidward, he comes out of his house and he says, "Too bad SpongeBob isn't here to enjoy SpongeBob not being here." That's such a good line.
Also, I love Plankton so much.
It's just...
He is hilarious. I mean, we'll get to the game, but there's a line in the game that just makes me laugh every single time.
But I just love that he's like the big evil, but he's just tiny.
Yeah. He's tiny. And his name's Sheldon.
I did not know his first name was Sheldon.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about Mr. Krabs yet. What a great character.
He's so good. Money grabbing.
Yeah, just...
His claws.
Yeah. Do you know another thing? It was before I had properly watched SpongeBob. I knew of SpongeBob at this point, but I heard this little girl once just say, "What, the barnacles?" And I had no idea what that was.
What, a barnacle?
Sorry?
What, a barnacle?
I knew what it was, but the phrase, "What, the barnacles?" And that's what he says, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had no idea that this girl was quoting SpongeBob. I just thought, that's what kids are saying nowadays?
What, the barnacle?
But
don't be a barnacle head. I love it.
Another, speaking of Mr. Krabs, another great episode is where SpongeBob, he thinks that Mr. Krabs has turned into a robot.
Oh, yeah.
And there's sort of little bits of evidence as to why Mr. Krabs is a robot, and one of them is he's spying on Mr. Krabs in his office, or walks in on him, but at the time, just before, Mr. Krabs is listening to the radio and he goes, his favourite songs just come on, and it's just someone going beep 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 boop 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 beep or something like that, and Mr. Krabs is singing along to it going beep 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 like that, and SpongeBob's like, he's a robot. That's
hilarious.
Right, but anyway, so let's move on to movie number 2, Sponge Out of Water. What do you think of that one?
It was okay until it got to the dolphin bit, and then it got weird.
Yeah, it was not as good as the first one. Again, not bad. It was still made me laugh at points.
Yeah.
But I think the main problem was when they showed the trailer.
Yeah.
It was all about them being outside in the live action.
We thought it was
CG,
all going to be live action.
And there were superheroes.
Yeah.
And I did remember saying, I hope the whole film isn't them superheroes. I hope we get to see some 2D animation.
I mean, there would have been.
I'd have been happy.
It was a weird trailer to show.
Yeah.
Because I guess it did look like.
Because I would have been happy if it was, say, half an hour of 2D stuff before they go out of the water, and then maybe like 40 minutes or up to an hour of live action stuff.
Yeah. And then going back to 2D.
Basically, what you see in that trailer of them as superheroes, that's the last 15 minutes. Pretty much. So everything before that is 2D, and which is fine.
Yeah.
But they go on the quail. I don't really remember much about it.
No, I only watched that one time because,
Yeah, but then it's just at the end, because Antonio Banderas is live action, plays a pirate who's like the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it ends with him getting doing the theme song.
Oh, yeah.
And he does the "Are You Ready, Kids?" and he starts to sing it, and then this dolphin that was in it earlier appears and just does this weird rap.
Yes.
For no reason whatsoever.
Because kids love rap.
And it wasn't a good rap.
No.
It
was terrible.
It was a sea rap, as I call it, those types. Oh, God, and it's in the sea as well, so that pun works.
I thought that was what you were doing.
I meant sea rap as in karate.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that works. I just made a great joke there. Better jokes than that film had. But and then it goes into the Who Lives in the Pineapple Under the Sea song afterwards, so that was fine. Anyway, then we've got another film coming out, which is all CG, about Gary getting lost.
Yeah, and it was, he gets...
Kidnapped.
Yeah.
Or something,
Catnapped?
Catnapped, snail-napped.
Snail-napped,
something like that, anyway. And Keanu's in it.
Yes.
As the wise sage.
Yes.
And it'll be funny. It's probably just a cameo, but
he's in some
the trailers
sort of
he's been prominent in the trailers, so I hope he's in it more than just that.
No, he's going to be in it just for that. He is.
I hope not. I hope he keeps popping up to give him a
I like the CG though.
It looks good.
It looks really good.
It looks really good. Again, I like the 2D animated
Yeah,
look.
yeah, me
But
too,
I'm all
yeah.
for 3D as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see it 3D to see.
It's for a chat. It's nice, something different, isn't it? I mean, a Sponge Out of Water touched on it,
Yes.
but
it wasn't the same. It was like,
yeah, you got to see them and like.
it was a bit too much.
But well, they were quite creative with the superhero designs. You had like Plankton had the huge muscular body with the tiny head,
Yeah, that's funny.
and Sandy was a real life squirrel as well. That was pretty cool. So anyway, we're going to get to the games now. So
Yes.
I have no experience of SpongeBob games outside of this new one, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's your experience of the games?
I used to go down to Essex to play with my little brother. Well, to stay with my dad and his family, and me and my little brother bonded over SpongeBob.
Which one?
So we started with Revenge of the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah.
And I mean, we never completed it, but it was so fun to go through the levels together, and we'd laugh at the dialogue and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we got Battle for Bikini Bottom. And I had a shorter amount of time on it than Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, which is why I think I've got such fond memories of Flying Dutchman.
Yeah. So then any others?
We didn't play any others other than those two, but I am aware there's other games.
Yeah, there's plenty of them.
I also had the plug-in TV game.
Yeah,
I had
plug
the
and play.
SpongeBob one, and it was like this box
Where
with,
his nose was the joystick.
so it's like a joystick arcade type thing.
Yeah.
Where you use the joystick, which is his nose.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. There was like 6 maybe games on there. I can't remember.
There were 5.
Oh, they're 5.
I know this because Scott the Was uploaded a video recently about
okay.
plug and play, and that was one of them.
Yeah, so I was almost there. I was a bit obsessed with SpongeBob at one point.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to finally talk about the game that's come out today, and that is Spongebob Squarepants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, which is a remaster or remake of the original 2003 game. If we're not going to talk much about this because we've already reviewed it for a channel called Switch Up. I got a friend who works on that channel, and he kindly gave us a review copy to do a review for him. So if you want to know our full thoughts of that, I'll put a link in the description to the review. And so make sure you check that out if you want to hear our full thoughts. And also, while you're there, check out their channel. They do some great videos on there. They're basically like old school gaming magazine in video form. They do reviews, they do previews and like eShop sales updates and things like that. Brilliant work they do there, so make sure you subscribe if you like what you see there. So now let's talk about briefly what we think of the game, just to sum up. What do you think of the remake?
It's beautifully done. Like, it's really quite beautiful looking, but there was some issues when we were playing through with it.
Yeah, so basically it's a fun game. It's a 3D platform. If you like them, you'll love this. But it did have some flaws. I mean, there were glitches, there were dodgy controls and camera at points.
There was
and
rendering issues.
Rendering issues as well. It just, I mean, you're looking at gameplay now during this video of the first level.
Yeah.
So it should give you an idea of what the game's like. So yeah, it's not bad. It's a good, fun game. And
Oh yeah, definitely. I loved it. Like, I still love it.
Yeah, I had a really good time with playing this game. It's just, there were certain things that let it down. Like when you compare it to the Crash and Spyro remastered trilogies where they did them from the ground up. This one, I'm not going to say it was a copy and paste job. I have no idea what went into making this game, but it kind of felt like one.
Yeah.
Like the visuals were all redone, obviously, and it looked very, very looked beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's just it just had too many flaws for it to be truly great. But it's still a good game, still worth getting if you're a SpongeBob fan.
For sure. Yeah.
Worth getting if you're a fan of 3D platformers. I think.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I wasn't reviewing the game, so I had to have a reviewer's brain on it, and you wrote it as well.
Yeah.
Then. I would have overlooked a lot of the flaws in it, but
yeah, I almost did because it just brought me back to playing with my little brother.
But just when you're reviewing a game, you have you keep your eyes are open for things like that a lot more.
Yeah.
But anyway, still really good game.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, good game, but just had too many flaws for it to.
Yeah, the glitches.
Be one of the greats.
Yeah, I know games have glitches, but it
not
was
that
just,
many.
Yeah, it was just disheartening when you're like going through stuff and then something would happen, you'd be like, oh.
Even after it got patched, it still had glitches
yeah,
that
exactly.
broke the game at times.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
crazy.
So yeah, so basically that was us talking about SpongeBob in general. Anything else you want to add?
I was going to say SpongeBob made me want to be a marine biologist, but that's not true.
Well, the creator was one.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a marine biologist before, and that's why I was like taken to Plymouth to go and see things, and then I saw SpongeBob, and I was like,
put you off.
No, I just decided to be different.
You're like, these sea sponges are very annoying. Yeah, I love Squidward.
It's good. He's awesome.
It's a thing about becoming an adult. It's like I watch Tom and Jerry. As an adult, I'm on Tom's side completely.
Really?
But as a kid, I'm on Jerry's side. It's like in Roadrunner. As an adult, I want that coyote to catch that Roadrunner. So thank you very much for listening to our thoughts about SpongeBob. If you like this video, make sure you give us a like. Make sure you put in the comments down below what your favourite episodes are, what you love about SpongeBob, what you hate about SpongeBob. And make sure you hit that subscribe button to join the party and not miss a future video from us. So goodbye from Sophie.
Goodbye, SpongeBob.
And it's a goodbye from me. We'll see you in the next one.